The US Open Cup is the oldest soccer competition in the United States of America, founded all the way back in 1914. However, in late 2023, MLS, the first division of soccer in the United States, decided to pull out of the 2024 US Open Cup as Don Garber announced that they would be sending MLS Next Pro teams, which technically they're not supposed to do and they're not allowed to do that. But why did they do it? Was it due to schedule congestion? Nope, that was bullshit. Is it because the product was not good enough? That is also a load of crap. So you tell me, what are the real reasons why MLS was openly attacking the US Open Cup? Why are they actually still attacking the US Open Cup? What if I told you it has nothing to do with the cup itself, but it's directly connected to a possible friction with the US Soccer Federation and an attempt to hurt USL? Today, we're going to be talking about all of that. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to episode 2 of this 2-episode mini-series where we dive into a few topics inside of our domestic soccer here in the United States of America. Episode 1 was on promotion relegation. Episode 2, which is this one, is about the MLS versus US Open Cup saga. And again, for these episodes, we have a special guest, which is Chris Kessel, a member of the board of directors of the West Virginia Soccer Association, youth soccer coach, soccer fanatic, and promotion relegation advocate on X. So sit back, relax, share your thoughts with us. We are here to start a conversation. I'm not offering you the absolute truth or solution to fix US soccer. I just want us to be talking about important topics. And as I always say, your opinion matters, and let us know in the comment section down below, what do you think about this saga between MLS and the US Open Cup, their relationship with US Soccer? We're going to be talking about Soccer United marketing and much more. Chris is very knowledgeable in this topic, so you might learn a thing or two. I actually learned a thing or two while talking to him myself. Drop a like before we start, because I won't be requesting while our guest is here, because that's just rude. So you can do it right now. Okay, let's play the intro and let's bring in Chris Kessel. All right, everyone, part 2 here with Chris Kessel. Today, we're going to be talking about the Open Cup and MLS's battle with it, the Federation. We're going to dive into what happened, what the Open Cup is. Is the battle between MLS and the Open Cup actually between these two, or is it MLS against USL? Why didn't the US Soccer Federation actually do anything? Because people are going to say they confronted MLS, but the fact of the matter is, if you look at the final outcome of this, MLS more or less got what they wanted. The Federation just kind of pretended to do something. We're going to address all of that with Chris. Part 1 was obviously on promotion and relegation. We talked about a long discussion on promotion relegation, the benefits of it. Also, I questioned Chris on a few things of hey, this might not work or not. So go check it out. The Open Cup episode. Sorry, not the Open Cup, the promotion relegation episode. It was the one we released the day before. But Chris, part 2. Why do we start with this? Just tell anyone that doesn't know, even though probably everyone knows watching this, very quickly. What is the U.S. Open Cup?
So the U.S. Open Cup is the oldest soccer competition in the United States, and it's open to any team that plays in a league that meets certain standards about the length of your season, etc. Amateur teams, you pay a small fee, you go through a qualification process based on how many teams enter in your region, and you win your way through those qualifiers, and you get into the first round proper, where the professional teams enter in, which start in March. And as we saw this year, about a quarter of the amateur teams that made it out of that qualification process beat professional teams in the first round. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. And then MLS, we'll talk about MLS in a second, but the US Open Cup seems to be the closest thing we have to the so-called unified soccer community in this country that we talked about in the previous episode about having the pyramid. But then one thing that happened was a few months back. I can't remember the exact date. It was late last year, I believe, in 2023. Don Garber said that because of a congested schedule that he created with the creation of the Leagues Cup, he wasn't going to have the MLS teams play in it, and he was going to send MLS Next Pro teams, which are mostly youth teams like U20s. Not all of them. There are teams that have players that are older. It's like a third division of the United States, but a lot of the MLS Next Pro teams are like U21s, U22s, U20 players for the most part. And essentially MLS would abandon the competition. That's the way to word it. And then doing so essentially destroys the purpose of this tournament, destroys the competition. My question to you is this: was MLS actually attacking the Open Cup? Is that the issue they have? Or is it something a bit more obscure? Maybe we can say, is it something that MLS right now has an issue with USL? It seems like these two are not getting along.
So I think that they're one and the same. I think that my personal opinion here is that MLS is using the Open Cup to try to actively harm USL, along with punishing US Soccer for not choosing Soccer United Marketing as its marketing partner any longer. I know for a fact that MLS during the whole run-up to the Open Cup this year was in constant communication with US Soccer. You know, that I mean, that's an indisputable fact. US Soccer was communicating with the league, with the professional leagues, along with, you know, staff discussions, communications to people on the board. They had an Open Cup committee the Open Cup committee was well aware of it. And they actually had an Open Cup roundtable where they brought in supporters of the Open Cup from all around the country, whether they were people like myself actually participated in that, who are involved in governance at the state level, or media people, and sometimes just fans. And everybody knew that this year was the first year that the media rights, sponsorship sales, and marketing and promotion of the Open Cup were handled internally within US Soccer.
This year, right, Chris? So before that, who handled it?
Soccer United Marketing handled it, right? MLS via Soccer United Marketing handled it. And just to touch on that before I get back into it, Soccer United Marketing had never delivered a title sponsor, had never delivered a partner, had never delivered a standalone media rights deal, had never delivered a single dollar of media rights fees for the Open Cup during the more than a decade that they had that. They had always lumped in the Open Cup with the national team and MLS's rights, and used it as an add-on for the media partners, right? So when that was brought in-house, US Soccer had already communicated that there was going to be a better media rights deal this year than ever before. They had brought on more sponsorships than ever before. They were investing more dollars into marketing and promotion, and upping the fee that they would pay teams to get their teams to road games, just et cetera. That every single thing about this was going to be improved. A first time that it had happened, just everything about it was going to be better. This was communicated and widely known within the governance and the league structures within soccer in the United States, right? And once all of it became really apparent that this was going to be the biggest and best year that the Open Cup had ever had, right? That is when MLS made their announcement that they were going to pull their teams and put the MLS Next Pro teams in. And I feel like, now this is me, this part is speculation, right? Because none of us are in that boardroom. But I feel like they're using this to harm USL, because USL is having, a surge here. They had teams making it really, really far in the competition. And could you imagine, Inter Miami being beaten by Miami FC or something like that? Or if Messi's on the field, you can't play Messi against the USL team. What happens if they lose? Like, what would that do to MLS's image and where they're competing entities and competing leagues? And those dollars would then be flowing towards US Soccer. it's just a whole lot going on there that I think that MLS used this opportunity to try to harm everybody that they're competing against. Because as we all know, it's league versus league in the United States, not club versus club.
So what you said is quite interesting, actually. So the reason they did this was essentially cause a little bit of harm with USL, also hurt USL's revenue because the Open Cup without MLS, obviously the revenue goes down.
Mhm.
That's obvious. We don't have to even question that. So it hurts USL in terms of marketability. It hurts USL in terms of giving them more exposure to the MLS crowd. And then also almost seems like a little bit of like revenge against US Soccer, not renewing the sum deal and all of that, which I believe Don Garber he's involved with some. What is Don Garber with some? He is
So where Don Garber in the past has been, the leader of Soccer United marketing because it is a piece of Major League Soccer.
got it.
So I don't know. I don't want to say his exact title right now because I'm not sure. I just know that he has in the past been there, and as the leader of MLS, some is a wholly owned entity of Major League Soccer, right? And he is also, as I think most of your listeners probably are aware, he is on the U.S. Soccer Board of Directors and is well aware of all of the things that I mentioned. If I know about them, he knew about them.
And what's fascinating to me about all of this is it was clearly an attack, right? What MLS
Mhm.
did, because MLS could have literally just expanded their roster rules a little bit, added some youth players to the roster, registered them, and then when the US Open Cup started, like they've done multiple times, they just play the subs. They've
Mhm.
done it so many times. We see most MLS teams do that in the early stages. Uh, but for some reason, he wanted to make it clear that we're not sending MLS teams. We're sending MLS Next Pro, which is essentially like youth teams for the most part. It was clearly an attack. And what you said makes total sense about like the goals with it. Obviously, that's an oversimplification of it. There's many more
Mhm.
details that we're not in the room to know what happened. And then Garber will pull some BS about the product and this and that, which again, you'll have teams like Manchester City playing in a terrible field sometimes in a stadium of like, I don't know, that doesn't fit that many people, like a bad product, and they go and they play because they're mandated to do so. And I
Mhm.
think the MLS team should have been mandated by US Soccer as well. You already touched upon the fact that they kind of control the rights for a long time through some Soccer United marketing, and nothing was really done with it. And then this was the year that US Soccer was going to have control over that, or has control over that. And then obviously coincidence that all of that happens right away. So let me ask you
Yeah.
one thing here. Why did the Federation take this loss? They just accepted it because to me, this is so for anyone that doesn't know, tell us first what was the final outcome. I believe there's like 7 MLS teams playing, something like that, 7 teams, and then the rest are MLS Next Pro. So MLS technically got what they want. They're still going to play the Leagues Cup right after the summer, right in August, which is a tournament between Liga MX and MLS, which by the way, Soccer United Marketing also works with the FMF, which is the Mexican Soccer Federation. So surprise, surprise, that's where you see this relationship becoming so powerful between Mexico and the MLS and Liga MX. Why did the U.S. Soccer Federation just accept this loss from MLS?
So I just want to make sure that everybody knows this is 100% speculation for me, right? I have not had any kind of conversations with leadership of U.S. Soccer, to know why they made the decision that they made, right? But I think that they made this decision because they were scared to use their power and authority. Um, because we have to remember that until recently, right, until US Soccer broke away from Soccer United marketing, that they had always not just capitulated to what MLS wanted, but just were in lockstep with them. They helped create rules, they helped drive the growth of MLS. They, by giving Soccer United marketing a reduced rate for the national team rights for a really long time, they allowed MLS to owners to make money to help prop up the league when it was floundering at the beginning. So this is a radical change, right? To fight against MLS. So while I was extremely disappointed in how this happened, the fact that certain people within U.S. Soccer resigned and were public about it, and that I don't know, at the AGM when it was suspected that things were going to work out and all the MLS teams were going to play, there was a lot of talk from a lot of leaders that MLS is no longer a good partner for soccer in the United States, that MLS is an active hindrance to the growth of anything that is not MLS. These things are a radical departure to how anything has worked since MLS was founded. And I think that some people in leadership, Cindy Cone and JT Batson, who, like, I've met JT Batson, he seems like a really smart, bright guy. And I'm sure that they felt like that they were doing the right thing by mediating this middle of the road compromise position of some MLS teams are going to play and some MLS Next Pro teams are going to play. I feel like they operated from a position of weakness instead of the position of power that they had, which is they had the rules on their side that MLS agreed to. They have the ultimate hammer of desanctioning, losing their Division I sanctioning, and what that does in CONCACAF and FIFA to the league and the players and the owners and everything, right? They had that ultimate hammer. And I think that they were scared to lead in that manner, right? That they still want everybody under the umbrella and everybody working together and to try to make people be good partners. But that position only works when people understand that you're the leader and you're not scared to lead. And I think they were scared to lead this time.
Yeah, that's what I felt like too, because if there's one threat of removing the Division I sanctioning, people can say all they want. MLS can't survive that. It would be catastrophic for MLS, for soccer in America. Actually, if MLS went through with it, they're like, we'll lose it.
Yeah.
It would be terrible. Like we said, like everything that MLS has built for soccer in the US too, we can criticize Major League Soccer while still recognizing everything that they've done good, right? And we talk about too how the federation. Would you say that the federation kind of subsidized MLS for a few years to help them? Is that the right wording or no?
So yeah, I would say subsidized is the indirectly subsidized is the correct word, right? Because during the Soccer United marketing as the marketing arm, sponsorship, sales arm, and media rights partner for U.S. Soccer, they delivered a flat fee that had the potential to rise when certain metrics were met, right? And for most years, at the end, if I recall correctly, I haven't looked at this in a while, it was $20 million a year, right? And when that moved in-house, and I suspected this and wrote many articles about it during the last few years, and I actually had conversations with leadership and, tried to make myself heard during that, right? As soon as, Carlos Cordero proposed or said that they were going to explore leaving their partnership with or their agreed relationship with Soccer United Marketing when the contract was up, then he was forced out. And then Cindy Cone became president of U.S. Soccer, and she followed through, and it was brought back in-house. They've blown through every dollar amount that they made. They've set new records. They've created more partnerships. We've already bring in more revenue, and 100% of partners sponsors stayed on, etc. I mean, it is already easy to see that the amount of money that U.S. Soccer was getting from the deal from before was way under what the market would actually have paid U.S. Soccer. So when you do that and you're selling it at a really under market value fee, the rest of those dollars go to, the Soccer United marketing and to the MLS owners. Everybody knew that U.S. Soccer could have been selling on the open market and making all this money, right? And we chose for more than 15 years to remain in that partnership where MLS collected a lot of money that could have went towards U.S. Soccer, could have went towards, youth soccer initiatives. It could have paid for, enhanced, youth national team, men's and women's national team, et cetera, et cetera.
A better coach for the national team.
Yes, I think we're in agreement on that one 100% as well.
But just one more thing here on this same topic. It does feel like, and then you can honestly just tell me if I'm full of crap on this one. It feels like MLS, because the way I see it is MLS has to work upon what's best for MLS. It's a business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to the U.S. Soccer Federation to regulate that, almost like any business in America. And then the government kind of regulates it. So, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. So MLS does what's best for MLS. And we've seen MLS in the past partner with one of the leagues that we talked about, how they're trying to kind of like kill it, USL, like they're competing with it. They partnered with USL to take down, was it NISA? What was the league it
was NASL.
NASL. Sorry, NISA is another division in soccer. They partnered to take down NASL, and in my opinion, they were successful with what they wanted to do. And we don't have to get into that. And then now it seems like they've shifted. They're not partnering with U.S. Soccer and not USL anymore. It seems like the partnership is Liga MX, right? Mexican soccer is the new shiny toy, the new partners that they're working with to grow and make money and probably reach a Mexican-American audience and all that, while they also try to kill off other competitions like USL as a competitor, right? We've seen also MLS franchises strategically move to specific cities for reasons that we know are like, sure, big city, big market, but also to take down specific competitors. Do you feel that way too? Because that's the vibe I get very often from MLS. And the thing is, people might hate what I'm about to say. I don't blame MLS because they're a business, and I think they should look at what's best for them. And it's up for the federation to regulate them, say, you're not allowed to do that. You can't do this. I think MLS should actually try to push it as far as they can. So our federation. So again, I'm going to go back to this because at the end of the day, I think the problem is the federation. And you've posted this multiple times. It does feel like MLS has a really strong grip on our federation in terms of the voting, the board, everything. That seems to be the underlying issue, because when you talk about the Open Cup, the federation could literally tell them, like, no, we're in charge. You're going to play it. Oh, you can keep the Leagues Cup. You can still play it. Your schedule may be congested, whatever it is. But you're going to play it, MLS. You will play it. Yep. But they did. And then we talk about like multiple things that they just allow to happen. So just to close this episode, how much influence, because you talked about how they got rid of Soccer United marketing at this point, which to me, that's a big win. Congratulations to Cindy Cohn, JT Batson, whoever got that job done, all of them, I'm assuming. Congrats to all of them. But MLS still has a lot of power at the federation, don't they? A lot of influence in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that you've you touched on a lot of things right there that I think that a lot of people don't really realize that, yes, MLS as a business should be doing what's best for MLS. Yes, U.S. Soccer is the regulatory body that's in charge of soccer in the United States, and it does need to do a better job. The professional league standards are the regulatory documents about how professional soccer works in the United States, how you become a member, how you become an association, how all that stuff is governed by U.S. Soccer. And when we talk about MLS partnering with USL to destroy NASL because NASL had made it known that they wanted to be a first division league, that happened, right? And right now, because USL is making a lot of headway MLS has now created its own third division league and is rumored to be starting its own second division league so that it can do that. That it can try to destroy USL, and they're using the Open Cup to do that, etc. We can also look at while MLS had a lot of power, they helped get rid of the DA and replace that with MLS Next, right? It happened, that quickly, and there also, we have to look out there that MLS has started MLS Go, which is a recreational soccer program that is MLS branded that they are implementing nationwide. We can see that MLS has started adult recreational soccer programs all over the country. Some of them have 4, 5, 6,000 participants in them already. They're already trying to destroy, local soccer and USASA and the state associations via that. Like, we can look and see that at every turn, MLS is trying to do what's best for MLS. And you're 100% right. They should do that. But it is up to United States Soccer Federation to govern the game, enforce its rules, and try to do what's best for everybody and not just MLS.
Man, you gave me all those names there: MLS Next, MLS Next Pro, MLS Go, MLS this, MLS that. It almost feels like Apple's running their marketing at this point, like the iPhone Plus, Max, Pro, Super, whatever. It's just like, it just feels that way. It's not very creative, the names. MLS Next Pro is kind of a stupid name for a league anyway, but I think that's all that we wanted to talk about, and I would love to hear everyone's thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree with what we said? Remember, a lot of what we said, if not most of it, is gathering information and speculating around it, because we're not in the federation, we're not in MLS. So we're giving our opinion based on the information we have out there. And some of it is factual, like a lot of the things we said about Soccer United marketing. Some of it is factual. And then outside of that, we have to speculate because we don't have all the data, all the information on it to know. So you guys can let us know in the comment section. Are we full of shit, or did what we say make any sense? And go check out the promotion relegation episode that we recorded and was released a day prior to this episode. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Drop a like if you agree with us. Drop a dislike if you disagree with us. And have a great day. Bye-bye.